Tremendo bichote que te pusieron.
That a good number of those youngsters would be receiving scholarships soon. So you are participating in this program today, and one of the things that you're going to see with the speakers, let me tell you how the program works. You've got two speakers today, two community leaders. They will share with you some of the life experiences. And then you're going to be invited to write an essay based on their presentations. Then the school administration will give us the 10 best essays. Then our commission, comprised of educators, will select the 3 best, sometimes 4 and up to 5. Now, the authors of those essays are invited to dinner in a nice restaurant with their parents, their brothers and sisters, their age, and the teachers, the school principal, the school vice principal, and then the speakers come back that evening and present you with a plaque. That is union. 600 youngsters have received those plaques. Now, let me tell you something that you probably suspect but not sure of. I like to assure that each and every one of you in this audience today is a genius. Let me tell you, please, do not take this as a joke. It is true. Each and every one of you is a genius. There is a genius within you waiting to surface. So you have to give yourself the opportunity for that genius to come out. There are times when you have problems with your subjects. Well, math, history, science. Well, we all did. When I went to school, I had problems with math. But I was very good in everything else. Math then needed more attention, and that's what I did. I gave more attention to math. And then I became an interior designer. And you cannot be an interior designer unless you do know your math. So there is a genius within you waiting to surface. Don't be afraid because a certain subject, because you can't do well in a certain subject. It means that you have to pay a little more attention to that. I've always told, how many of you have dreams? Terrific. You know what? Whatever dream it is that you do have the capability of making it come true. And when I say this to certain classes, I've heard comments as, yes, but no, I'm very poor, my families are very poor. Well, that's a lot of nonsense. Yes, but I am an Afro-American. It's a lot of nonsense. Yes, but I'm a Hispanic. Those are pure, very, very pure excuses. It means that you feel you have found a zone of comfort and you feel good. Producing only half of what you can produce. Now let me tell you a quick story. Not too long ago, I was reading a magazine. In this magazine that I was see a picture. This picture is this picture. Little figure for you to see. Okay? The name of this lady is Ana Escobedo Cabral, Mexican, the daughter of a very poor family. Her father was so poor that he used to collect garbage in the neighborhoods where he used to live and try to seek out some things that he could sell, turn into dollars. They had no education. Mom and Pop were not educated. And Ana Escobedo Cabral was one of 5 children. There were times where there were very little food to feed the whole family. But Ana Escobedo Cabral had a dream. And when she was asked many times, what do you want to be when you grow up? Ana Escobedo Cabral used to answer, I'd like to be an employee of the White House. And people laugh at her. Ana, you're crazy. Look at your parents. Look what your father does for a living. Look at you, Mexican, a woman, poor. How could you be thinking that one day you could be an employee of the White House? But Ana Escobedo Cabral had a lot of faith in herself. She respected herself. And she had a dream. And she understood that that dream needed one thing. Needed her dedication. And she understood that to be an employee of the White House, first point in her agenda, after believing in herself, was education. Well, I'm sure you've seen a $1 bill. All of you. I have here an enlarged photograph of a $1 bill. Every dollar bill is signed by the Treasurer of the United States. And the signature in this dollar bill, I'm going to ask our guest speaker to read the signature in this.
Ana Escobedo Cabral.
Ana Escobedo Cabral. But she doesn't only sign the $1 bills, she also signs the $50 bills. Ana Escobedo Cabral, woman, Mexican, poor, great dream. But you know what? Determined to succeed in life. And then she doesn't only sign $1 and $50 bills, she also signs a $100 bill. Ana Escobedo Cabral. So when you tell me that you are poor, that you are Hispanic, that you are Afro-American, and therefore the opportunities are not there, I cannot accept those excuses, my dear friends. Those are comfort zones that we find to justify our laziness and to justify the fact that sometimes we don't respect ourselves and we don't believe in ourselves. And make no mistake, my dear young friends, nobody's going to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. This program is about that. Reaching our dreams is about helping you become more and more aware to the fact that whatever it is that you want to accomplish in life, you do have the ability to do it. You and every one of you is a genius if you work. It needs to stop the nonsense. It means to stop blaming government and our neighbors and the school and the principal and the school system and everybody else. you have to take charge of your lives like I did, like Sonia Zayas did, like Sid Wilson did, I'm sure like Mrs. Walker did. So my dear friends, I'd like to introduce our first speaker. It's a young lady from Jersey City. She is the director, the founder, and president of the Hispanic Heritage Foundation of Hudson County. A dynamic young lady. Her name, Sonia Zayas. Let's give her a big hand.
Buenos días a todos. Good morning to everyone. Unfortunately, I cannot dance for you, I cannot sing for you, and make this so much more entertaining than just speaking to you. A few years back, I would have never been 7 inches tall. And I had many things to make me think that I was less than other people. Many things. The height, the feeling that my father was not there, all those things that make a rich family life that you feel proud of. But I found very early on that I have one thing about me that I can rely on. Let me tell you what that is. One very important ingredient in your life is to have introspection. Who knows what introspection is? What's that word? Anybody knows what it means? Come on, somebody venture out. Introspection. Okay. You know what that means? That means knowing about yourself, spending time thinking about yourself, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, to know exactly when you're feeling envious, when you're feeling angry. Why are you feeling angry? Why are you feeling sad? What makes you sad about what another person said? Because guess what? That's going to teach you so much about yourself. And that process of learning about yourself is what's going to have you promote what's good and start feeling better about the insecurities that you accumulate through life. Have you heard about all the different intelligence that exists out there besides the IQ that they measure with your IQ test? Have you heard of all the other intelligences out there? Okay. There's this guy called Gardner, and he came up with a book and this research saying that the IQ doesn't measure all the different intelligence that exists out there. One of those intelligences is the inclination for music. Some people have wonderful movement repertoire when they hear music, and they can move, and they can feel their bodies, and they can develop their bodies really to the utmost. That's why you have all those acrobats, and you have all these ballet dancers, and you have this is a very important, we call it another big word, because I'm trying to give you a lot of big words that maybe it can stimulate you to go back and say, wow, maybe I can accumulate some big words every week. That gives you what they call the kinesthetic intelligence. Kinesthetic is the feeling about your body and your movements. Okay? Introspection and being able to feel empathy and understanding of other people is another intelligence. How many of you, your friends always go to talk about their problems? Anybody has that your friends go to you? See? Wonder why? It's probably because you know how to listen. It's probably because you know what to say and what kind of advice to give them. That's another sign of intelligence. There are people that can listen to music and that have an enormous intelligence in interpreting things with their ears. There's others that have an enormous intelligence in interpreting things with their eyes because they're very visual. You have to get to know yourself first. What is your strength? Because, let me tell you, everybody has different strengths. Not everybody is perfect. Forget about those perfect people. Nothing is perfect. Because even the really, 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 really intelligent ones might not have any social skills, might not know what to do at any very simple little moment, and you might have a lot of problem solving and resources and they might not have it. So you always get to know yourself first. I give this to you as a primary objective of my talk to you. Let me just continue about myself. I'm an occupational therapist. Why did I choose this profession? I didn't know anything, and you probably know nothing about what occupational therapy is. Who has the vaguest idea of what occupational therapy is? No, unfortunately, this has always been the case. But you do know what physical therapy is, right? Everybody knows what physical therapy is. Occupational therapy is another component of that rehabilitation team. Like speech therapy goes together with physical therapy, it goes together with occupational therapy. Occupational therapy, and I want to be very brief because I don't want to bore you. Occupational therapy handles the remediation of all your problems into becoming independent in whatever you need to be. Okay? So they help you go back to the work if you have had an injury. They help you learn in school if there are things that you're having a hard time with. So we work with adults, with children, with the elderly, and everybody because our assumption is that everybody has an inner drive to accomplish, to feel good about ourselves. We want to. That's why we become the class clowns. Because it feels good that everybody is laughing and they're enjoying themselves, and we feel like we're on stage, right? That's why we enjoy sometimes, inappropriately, of being the antagonistic one. Oh, it stirs the teachers off, the vice principal, it stirs, and all the other peers and friends are looking at you like, wow, how daring. What a great thing. Totally inappropriate. Totally inappropriate. But you're getting something, you're getting a motivation, an inner drive to accomplish something. That same drive to accomplish that you can use so much better to get you to so much further along in your life. You would not realize how much of that inner drive to be the daring one can help you become daring in other aspects of your life that are going to be more productive and that are going to work for you in the long run. And I'm diverting a little bit and I'm trying to find a trend of thought here. But these are the things that I'm concerned with as an occupational therapist. How do you learn? How do you learn through your sensory systems? Through your body, through your eyes, through your ears, through your sense of touch. Sensory systems are very, very important, and I want to leave you with another message here. Are you totally awake for learning when you come to school? Are you feel totally awake? Most of the time now, right? You're falling asleep. Do you know that there's some things that you can do to help yourself if you wanted to? Okay. When somebody is trying to study for a test, what do they tend to do? They munch onto things, right? Do they munch? Do they eat? They start munching, they start walking because they get nervous. And they start to biting their nails, they start doing things with their bodies. Yes or no? Who's done that? Many of you have done that. Because I know because I've done that. What you need to do in the mornings to make your system wake up for learning, if you are very, very sluggish and unmotivated, do some jumping jacks. Run around the corner before you come to school. You know you're going to be ready for learning when you come in. Hey, I'm losing you? Tell me if I'm losing you. I know because this is what I like. I like science. If some of you like science, you can like all of the derivatives of science, like neurology and how your body works and how your systems work. It's a big, big, big word, but it's really something very simple. How you receive information and the strategies you use to accomplish what you need to accomplish so that you can be ready for learning. It's all about that, and it's all about habits. Habits are very difficult to acquire, good habits. It's so much easier when you go home to throw everything on the floor and when you take your clothes off. It never dawned on me that it takes a second to pick them up and put them on the hangers. Guess what? The person that doesn't take that second, at the end of the week, your room is full of clothes, and then you say, what an overwhelming job I have. I can't possibly do this. It's going to take me hours. Because the proper habit was not developed on time. I did not develop the proper habit when I was a child. These things you develop because of experience. And we're here to tell you about many little things that you can do to develop the proper habits for school. The other habit is motivation. Most of us like to feel good immediately. We call that instant gratification. Oh yeah, you invited me to a party, let me go. Forget about the test that you were going to have tomorrow, right? Now, if you try to analyze it, you can plan so you can get to that party, but study. So you study a couple hours before the party, and you plan on getting up earlier in the morning of the next day, because in the morning the minds are very receptive to learn and revise what you have learned. It's planning, it's habits. If you don't want to miss everything, then you have to organize yourself better so that you don't miss and that you still enjoy yourself, but you're planning the time and you're not giving up on everything. Let me just revise some of the other notes that I had, and I will continue.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a first, where I've had to actually get up.
Do you want to just get up for a second from your seats? Just 1 second, just everybody stand up. I don't want you. Please listen to me. Please listen to me. Everybody? Okay, sit down. Have you ever thought about how, without looking, how you get to feel where those fingers up in the air are and how you get that information? Have you ever thought about that? How do you get to know, to get that information that you're moving something? Body works, and that's what an occupational therapist does. But in any event, I hope that I can. Now at 53, I am starting my private practice that is called Sensory Kids, and I am also the leader of the Hispanic Heritage Foundation that really wants to make you feel you can do it. It's just a matter of organizing yourself, planning, talking to people that can help you. So have a good day, and I hope you will be able to attend to my other speakers.
You know, because you're young, you radiate a lot of energy. You do have a lot of energy. However, discipline is very important. I was talking before about self-respect. But one of the ways that you show self-respect is when you discipline yourself in accordance to the audience that you're part of. If you are in a concert, you may scream and yell, blah. You're in a program like this, you pay attention, especially if you're going to be writing an essay based on what you hear today. And better yet, when 3 to 5 of you are going to be invited to dinner with your families and your teachers in a very nice restaurant, and you will receive a plaque. See, that's when you arm yourself with your self-respect. Because now you says, my God, I have an opportunity. I respect myself enough to want that opportunity. To give myself the opportunity to take or to be one of those 5 to 3 people that are going to be invited. When you're young, I was once your age. And you know what? At your age, you live in fantasies. What we're trying to do here is to let you see the other side of the coin. The other side of the coin is very easy. You have to understand that life is not all about fun and games. And that you have to take charge of your life. Let me tell you what happened to me when I came to this country at the age of 14, and I came to live in a little village called Lake Ronkonkoma, over 100 miles away from here in Long Island. I was a Puerto Rican. I was the only Hispanic in the whole school. And people were laughing at me. First, because I didn't know how to speak English. Second, because I always was the smallest one in every classroom that I sat. So at that time, because even at that age, you take charge of your life. And at that age, I did take charge of my life. Oh, they laughing at me because I don't know how to speak English. They laughing at me because I'm the smallest one in the room. Terrific. That's my challenge. So how I'm going to deal with this? Well, homework became like sacred to me. Because I decided that I was going to be the best student in every classroom that I sat. And I did. Worked very hard. That is showing self-respect. Then, you're laughing at me because I am the smallest one, and I was very attractive to the bullies. So then I registered myself in a judo school. That was the end of that. Life is about challenges. And you have to accept those challenges, and you have to deal with them with a sense of self-respect. Discipline is part of that. And you know what, my dear good friends? I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you because you're listening, and because it seems to me that out of this audience, I'm going to have to give you 5 instead of 3 essays, winners. So now, ladies and gentlemen, this young man was born in Dominican Republic. How many Dominicans are here? Terrific. And he was the first Dominican to get involved with the stock market in New York City. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a gentleman who is always a trustee at the Bergen Community College in Paramus, Sid Wilson. Let's hear it for Sid Wilson.
Thank you. Good morning. No, a little bit louder. Good morning. Buenos días. Yo vi muchos dominicanos aquí, ¿no? But for all my Boricua friends, that's okay. I'm on your side too, because I'm on just a little bit about myself. My name is Sid Wilson. And my family came from a city called Barahona, Dominican Republic. And so, but I say that just to give you a little sense of my background. But I can tell you that while I'm proud to be Dominican, I'm also proud to be Afro-Latino. I am also on the board of, I'm also a life member of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP. Because as we know, it's because many of us did come from Africa, and it's important that we embrace our African heritage, right? I got an applause, that's good. I'm also on the board of directors of the Puerto Rican Legal Defense and Education. And that's good. I say that not just to impress you. I say that to impress upon you that regardless of whether you're Dominican or Puerto Rican or Cuban or African American or Colombian or Mexican, that all of you have the same objectives and the same opportunities that are available to you. I can tell you that a little bit about my background, and then I'll tell you more about why I think that this class is going to be the class that is going to set the example in Jersey City. Because I'm sure that your arch rivals at Dickinson and Lincoln and what's the other one? Exactly. I'm sure that those students would love to show this school up, but I know Ferris High School is a much stronger high school than that, isn't it? Because I'm not speaking at Dickinson or Lincoln or Snyder, I'm talking to Ferris High School, am I not? Well, I'm going to tell you a story that I think is going to give you an example of the fact that I am no different than any of you. And when you hear this story, it's going to give you the example that if it can be done, if it's humanly possible, it can be done by any one of you. When I was in high school, I went to public school, and here in New Jersey, my dream was to be a Wall Street financial analyst. I went to the New York Stock Exchange, and I went down I took the tour, and I said, you know what, this is what I want to do. I saw a movie called Wall Street with Charlie Sheen and Michael Douglas. Can some of you remember they've seen that on some of the cable channels? But I said that I wanted to do that. That was my dream. And so when I went to college, I went to actually Ohio State University. Who went to the NCAA tournament? That's my alma mater, Ohio State. And so after I graduated Ohio State University, I said to myself that this is the dream. This is my passion. This is my ambition, is to be a Wall Street financial analyst. And so I tried to get a job at one of the Wall Street firms after I graduated. And they told me, I'm sorry, there's no jobs here for you. We're only hiring people from Harvard and Yale and Wharton and the other Ivy League schools. And I went to Ohio State University. But I did not let that make that an excuse to go back home and say, Mom, Dad, I'm sorry. You know, it didn't work out. So I told them, what will you hire me for? And they said, well, there's nothing here for you. I said, well, what about the mailroom? And they said, well, there's nothing here for you. I said, good, then don't pay me. I'll work in your mailroom for free. Just give me 4 months to prove to you that I'll be the best mail boy you have ever seen. And so, why would I do something like that? Well, have you ever been in a situation, and I know all of you have, where there was something that you absolutely, positively had to do? Like, let's say you had a term paper that was due the following morning, and you knew that following morning your teacher was going to call you, was going to ask you to turn in that term paper, and it was 2 days before the term paper was due, and you hadn't started yet. How many of you have been in that situation before? You all have. I have too. But somehow you got it done, didn't you? You got it done. You did something that I consider what I call do something extraordinary. You knew that it was a must that you had to get that term paper in. It was a must to get that, to study for that exam. In my case, my dream wasn't just a dream, it was a vision. There's an old saying that I say to myself very frequently. It says, if you talk about it, it's just a dream. If you talk about it, it's just a dream. When you envision it, it gets exciting. When you envision it, it gets exciting. When you plan it, it becomes possible. When you plan it, it becomes possible. But when you schedule it, now it is real. And I actually, when I was in school, took one of those dollar bills and I wrote down on it, paid to the order of Sid Wilson, my name, of course, in the amount of $100,000. And I said to myself, I'm gonna hang it up on my wall. I'm gonna watch it every single day. And I know that if I look at that every day, I know it's gonna help me to get my dream. And so, lo and behold, I did my job, working in the mailroom and doing everything I could to be the best, not just an ordinary mail person, but the best mail person that they ever had. Well, I proved myself. While I was there, I competed in an investment contest. It was called the AT&T Collegiate Investment Challenge, where they give you a fictional $100 million account, and it's your job to invest. Well, the great thing about working in the mailroom at a Wall Street firm is that there's always extra mail that's sitting around. And so I took the initiative to start self-training myself how to be a Wall Street financial analyst. I then entered the contest. There were 9,100 participants in that contest in all North America, United States, Canada, and Mexico. And out of 9,100 participants, I finished the contest ranked number 77 out of 9,100. That put me in the top 1% of the country. Thank you. So I took that results and I went back to my boss and I said, boss, here's my result. He looked at it and his mouth just dropped. They said, what are you doing in the mailroom? And I said, I asked myself the same question, but you guys won't hire me for anything else. But I had to prove myself. I didn't make an excuse. I made it happen because for me, it was a must. Not a should, a must. And so that catapulted my career. And then I went from the mailroom to an assistant position, from an assistant position to an associate position. I think I felt that I've achieved my dream, right? Well, isn't it the case that when you get a goal and you achieve it, you start feeling a sense of complacency because you say, well, now what? Now what's the next thing to do? So I wrote down my next goal. And I said, my next goal is not just to be a Wall Street financial analyst, my job is to be the best. And some people said, listen, Sid, you know, yeah, it's a nice run. You were in the mailroom and now you're the director of research. But, you know, come on. And I said, you know something? I'm going to do it. And so my goal was to do that. And last year, Forbes magazine. How many people have heard of Forbes magazine? It's a big, it's a financial newspaper, Forbes magazine. Forbes magazine came out with their ranking of the best Wall Street financial analysts in the country. And these are people that ranked. Ooh, you're getting ahead of me. They ranked Sid Wilson, the mailboy, who became the director of research, #1 in America. Why do I say this? I got your attention. Say I. Okay, that's good. Because now it's not about me now. Let me tell you. If I had not graduated high school and if I had not gone to college, I wouldn't have even got a chance to even get in the mailroom. And I tell you this because you have tools that are available to you that when you use them and harness them, sky is the limit. And I can tell you that since then, I've had some great successes. I was invited to speak at the White House on behalf of Dominican Independence Day, the first time ever. I was recognized by the United States Congress for the work that I've done. How many of you are familiar with Black Enterprise magazine? I was a cover boy of Black Enterprise magazine recently. And I was also on Thank you. I was on the cover of Black Enterprise because they heard about what I did. And so they put me in the cover. Hispanic Magazine also profiled me. They did a big photo of me in there. And I can't tell you how many times I've been on Univision and Telemundo and ABC and CBS and Fox and all. I've done them all. I've traveled to 45 of the 50 U.S. states already. And yes, that includes Hawaii, Alaska, and Puerto Rico. And of course, the provinces. I've been to Puerto Rico many times. I love Puerto Rico. I love the Dominican Republic as well. In fact, I'm actually the Dominican government, led by President Leonel Fernandez, actually had called me to give them help to help them develop the first ever Dominican stock exchange. And so what I'm saying to you is that you have to turn whatever your shoulds into musts. I can tell you that one of the greatest feelings is that when you get people that admire you, and they reach out to you. Like last September, when I got a phone call, and they said, "Is Sid Wilson here?" Who's this? This is the United States Treasurer, Ana Escobedo Cabral. I want to talk to Sid Wilson. And I said, "Are you kidding?" And yes, it was the United States Treasurer, Ana Escobedo Cabral. And she said, "Sid, I want to come to your event, and I want to meet you." And I said, "Wow." But the whole point of the matter is that what I did was my goal was not just to be good. Because if your goal is just to be good, that threshold, at least in our community, and I know that your parents told you what my parents did, that we need to seek excellence. And I know that Ferris High School will be the example of excellence. Yes. Am I not right? And so, I think that this is now your opportunity to show those other schools and to show the people of New Jersey and show America that Ferris High School is the example of excellence. And I know that we're going to get to wrap up real shortly, but what I want to say is that when you sow a thought, shh, all right. When you sow a thought, you reap an action. When you sow an action, you reap a habit. When you sow a set of habits, you reap a character. And when you sow a character, you reap a destiny. And what is the destiny of the students at Ferris High School? What's your destiny? I heard journalism, I heard business. But I'll tell you what, whatever you do, one thing I can tell you is either you do it or you don't do it. But you don't go halfway. You have to decide. Because decide actually, for those of you that take Latin class, it comes from Latin, means to cut off. Decide means that you're going to cut off all other opportunities and you're going to achieve your goal and your dream. And don't let anybody tell you what you can't do. Because if I took the advice of the people who told me that I would never get a job on Wall Street, to say nothing of being the director of research, to say even nothing more about me being ranked number one, I would still be a waiter at Pizza Hut, which is what I was doing before I got my job on Wall Street. And so, I know that there's a lot of pride and joy here at Ferris High School. And I know that as we start looking ahead, as many of you start going to college and start doing great things, you're going to bring pride and joy to your families. I know that for those of you that were born here, whether you're born here or whether you're born in another country, you want to be the pride and joy in your family. And I know that every single one of you have a photo of your parents, and you look at them and say, you know what, I know that they will be proud of what I'm doing. Proud of the fact that I represented Ferris High School well. Proud of the fact that I'm going to college. Proud of the fact that the people of Jersey City are seeing what we're doing. And proud of the fact that we outdid Snyder and Lincoln and those other schools, and we set the example of excellence. And I'm going to say one thing. I'm going to wrap this real quick. That and if I have a chalkboard, I will show you this. Well, one of the things that I learned in high school was a formula, and I call it my success formula. Who wants to hear the success formula? The formula that whether you're an athlete or whether you're a student or you just want to be just a great individual together, that this formula will give you the success that you need. How many people want to say I? I'm saying it again. If you want to hear the formula of success that is going to take you to the next level of excellence, that will make you be outstanding, say I. All right. I'm going to do this really quickly. This will take about 2 minutes, I think. But I'll try to do this real quick because I know that we got to get bedtime. But have I got your attention yet? Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Now, especially for you seniors, and I think for you juniors as well, this is a formula that, believe it or not, you've been taught already. You just didn't realize it. It was right before your eyes and you didn't even realize it. How many of you have remember that? How many of you taken algebra already? Oh yes, every one of you have by now, I hope so. Remember that formula, y equals mx plus b? Oh, I see here, I've heard that. Everyone's saying, oh my goodness, not that formula. No! No, that was such a tough formula. Y equals mx plus b, remember that? Okay, this will take me 10 seconds. I'm going to show you that formula, my way. Who wants to hear the Sid Wilson way of y equals mx plus b? Say I. All right, real quickly. Now, remember as a preview, this will take 2 seconds. Remember how y is your dependent variable, and then m was your slope, and your x is your independent variable, and your b is your y-intercept. Remember that? Remember taking that all those things like that? All right. Now, I'm going to show it to you the Sid Wilson way. When you apply it, it's going to take you wherever you want to go, whether it's music, whether it's politics, whether it's being a doctor, a lawyer, or a business person, or a philanthropist. But this is going to get you there. You ready for this? Ready? Say ah.
Come on, man.
All right. Okay, now, y. My way. Y equals you. Because isn't it the fact that everything in your surrounding has an impact on your life? Yes or no? Sometimes there are things that happen that are beyond your control, but you know what? Unless it happens, am I correct? Yes or no? Yes. Y equals you. Now, what does M stand for? Oh, wow, I like that. He said money. Well, M stands for momentum. M stands for momentum. Because isn't it a fact that whenever you try a new project, one of the hardest things that you can do is just to start it. How many people work out here? Isn't it the hardest thing to working out is just going to the gym? That's the hardest thing. Once you're in the gym, you got the momentum going. Those of you that are student athletes, once you start running, you start working out, and you're running around, you got that momentum going, right? And so, or any new project you do, you get that momentum going. So now, what does X stand for? X stands for execution. Now, not execution, the other execution, but execution meaning to execute, to move forward. Like, I'm going to execute this project. I'm going to execute this initiative. Now, we all set goals and achievements, and we do that. But now, let's say you have all these goals, you set these things up, but you have no momentum. What is anything? What is anything times 0? Okay, good. You gotta do this. Make sure you're good at it, though. That's good. But anything times 0 is 0, which means that, as you say, if you set a goal, you put no momentum to it, it gets you nowhere. Now, we know a lot of people that are all talk, or a lot of talk, but no action. And of course, if that means that they're talking, but no momentum. Now, what about someone who has a lot of momentum, a lot of action, a lot of energy, but yet they have no plan, no vision for what they want to do? They have a lot of momentum, but no execution. Again, what is anything times 0? 0. So, in other words, you need to have a plan of action, and you need to put momentum to it. And then, what is B? Now, you know what B stands for? B stands for birth. B stands for birth. B-I-R-T-H. Because isn't it a fact that we are not all, we're all created equal, but are we all born equal? The answer is of course not. And so, but we know that when you take that slope, it doesn't matter whether you were born at this level or born at this level. All that matters is your slope and your execution. And so that's something that I did, and as a result, we got it going. So with that, I just want to say thank you very, very much to all of you. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing some of you up here. And I'm going to add also one real quick that I'm going to sweeten the deal for the essay. That whoever wins, I will go in a $500 scholarship for the winner.
Let's give these speakers a big, big round of applause. Thank you. God bless you.
The bell, brother, right?